G-Therapeutics works in rehabilitation of individuals with spinal cord injury. The presenter is Vincent Delattre.
So good morning. My name is Vincent. I'm one of the co-founders of G-Therapeutics, a company that develops solutions to help the brain help itself. So 500,000 individuals suffer spinal cord injury every year. This incurs tremendous cost to society. In average, lifetime healthcare cost for a single paraplegic patient is above 2 million Swiss francs. Over the past decade, our team has developed a therapeutic intervention that enables fully paralyzed animals to regain the ability to walk again. This approach creates an environment for the brain, actually, to fix the circuits organization. We combine electrical stimulation of the spinal cord with robotic training, and the combination of these tools promotes the rearrangement of neural circuits and the recovery of voluntary control of locomotion. So in order to translate this groundbreaking scientific breakthrough into medical intervention for humans, G-Therapeutics is developing two products. One is a fully dedicated implantable spinal cord stimulator, and the other one is a robotic rehabilitation platform. So spinal cord injured patients will be implanted with a pulse stimulator and an electrode array to stimulate neural circuits in the spinal cord during training using this robotic support system, and together helping them to regain eventually the capacity to walk. Our team has a very strong academic origin. You can see among the co-founders, we have 3 professors from EPFL, from the Center of Neuroprosthesis. We have a neurosurgeon from Lausanne University Hospital that since a couple of years helped us translate those findings from animals to humans. We have Joachim, he's a robotician who developed the robotic support system, and we are now bringing in more experienced professionals with experience on medical product development. And we just hired a new CEO that will be here in a few minutes. Like, you can talk with him after lunch if you want. Jacques Deckers, who successfully created Sapiens Technologies company, raised 48 million euros to create a dedicated stimulator for Parkinson, and sold it last summer to Medtronic. Together with him, we are now identifying other key players to join the team to consolidate our team. For instance, we have identified clinical regulatory directors who have successfully conducted more than 20 clinical studies in Europe and in the States and went through the CE marking and FDA approval processes. So the idea now is for us to raise 40 million Swiss francs, among which 15 million in soft money. And with this 40 million total amount of money, we want to develop our product in 4 years, reach a clinical validation of our approach, with first clinical data as soon as next year. We want to reach CE marking by 2020 and have FDA approval for testing in the US. We'll start to diffuse the technology in other hospitals. We start with Lausanne. We will be starting with other hospitals in Switzerland and maybe also abroad for a multicentric clinical study that needs to be investigated. Yet, a clinical proof of concept has been set up here in Lausanne University Hospital, where we have a rehabilitation platform that is already operational. You can see here a partially paralyzed patient that basically cannot walk, cannot bear his weight, but he can move his leg. So if you put him in the robot, you can have him actually training to walk, even without crouches. And now imagine if you have a dedicated stimulation system to stimulate the spinal cord at the right time, at the correct place, to promote the functional recovery of the nervous system. We are convinced these patients will benefit from an improved autonomy, mobility, and quality of life. So you can help us take the step. You can vote for us. And we'd just like to thank you all for your attention and all our sponsors for their support. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. Please, jury.
So can you be a bit more precise about the surgeons, the type of feedback you got from the surgeons that would, for example, accept to be involved in such a trial?
So we are working with the functional neurosurgeons, and something that you should know is the procedure is very common, actually. What they usually do for chronic back pain, for instance, is to implant electrode array in other areas of the spinal cord, and this is performed daily in hospitals like Morges even, to really treat patients with chronic back pain. So in terms of surgical procedures, it's not difficult. The key thing is to be able to know where to stimulate, and this is where our know-how has been generated and where our IP is protecting the technology.
Vincent, I think in terms of technology, well, you have proven that is great. So my question would be, what are the problems you anticipate in terms of business execution?
So we are talking about developing an active medical implant. So it's a class 3 medical device. It's the most stringent regulatory pathway. It's challenging. You have to have all this encapsulated in a human body. We need to have a real-time motion feedback to communicate with this implant what is the stimulation to be delivered. So there are some power consumption issues that needs to be tackled, but we believe with great expertise we can do so. In terms of business-wise, I mean, you want to get this therapy diffused all around the world globally, and since it's a common surgical procedure, the idea is to have like excellent centers to train the surgeons to come to see how it's performed. So the gesture itself of inserting the electrode is fine. They need to come with their electrophysiologist in order to perform intraoperatively a mapping of the spinal cord. So we will give them the tool as well to perform this mapping. And then once you have those surgeons that are trained, patients can be implanted everywhere in the world. Then we want to partner with other rehab companies to make the room installations everywhere, because kind of the bottleneck is the number of patients you can train per day in one room. If one patient is 2 hours a day, for instance, it's a limiting factor, so you need a lot of room. So now we're seeking for collaborators to like install those rooms with us all over the world.
Good.
So it's along the same line. Probably some of my colleagues are better prepared to answer, but when I see you raising 15 million and having a small team still today, a lot of external collaborator, I wonder if there's not a first milestone. What is the thing you're going to do in the next 18 months and that would help you scale? And also in that context, I think you already have a stimulation device and you also think have a room that you could deliver. Could the funding be a little bit scaled in phase?
So first point is I'm not alone. We have a team of 40-ish academic collaborators working on the project. I'm currently the only one on the payroll of the company, but people will come in. I mean, academic partners, some will be hired by the company. We have this new CEO that will start paying him as soon as we'll have raised the money with him. And in terms of intermediate milestones, as you know, we have this partnership with an industrial to make this proof of concept at the CHUV. So we're using existing stimulating technologies, but it's just to make a proof of concept. It's very suboptimal. So this is why we really want to do something that is neat and with a tailored design. And active medical implants has high entry barriers. So 25 million VC money to create such a product is not something big, actually. It sounds big in terms of amounts if you're not used to it. But
okay, so I congratulate you. I congratulate you for going big. I'm just a smaller investor, so I'm saying, you know, we're not used, but my colleagues will certainly help you on the right.
So how many rooms you would need to address the need in Europe, ideally? Now everything is ready, you are ready to sell, to execute. How many rooms would be deployed so that we can address it adequately?
So there is about 30,000 spinal cord injury every year. Half of them can recover with traditional rehab centers, so you're left with 15,000 patients. Probably some lesions will be too severe yet. So let's say between, 1,000 of rooms in Europe, you could cover entire European need.
Okay, thank you.
Christian?
What happened to the rat after you took away the stimulation, your stimulation product?
To the rat?
Yeah.
So this depends on the lesion severities. We have multiple models of spinal cord injuries. One is contusion to mimic the effect of traumatic accident. And in some cases, you have like mildly impaired animals, and after weeks of training, they don't need the stimulation anymore. So, but if the lesion is too severe, you need to keep stimulating. And if this lesion is even more severe, Professor Korting demonstrated yesterday, you also need the pharmacology.
Okay, great.
One last question.
I wanted to know how you capture revenues during the rehabilitation phase.
How do I capture what?
Revenues. Revenues. So how do you make money? I understand how you can make money off the implant, but what about rehabilitation phase?
Well, basically you enter rehab clinics with the rooms. We sell them materials and integration of materials, so that's the entry point. And then for every patient that they need to train, they will need to buy implantable system. And this generates recurrent revenues, on top of which you can add servicing contracts and teaching contracts.
Okay, Vincent, thank you very much. Thank you.